Da-da-da. Ah, ok. Bonjour tout le monde. And today we're touching at something that is in tune with my avatar. We're talking about Fire Emblem. Okay. Most more specifically, sorry, Fire Emblem 8. Although Link Arena is available across the 3 GBA titles, this one is the one that will have the Sacred Stones is the one for which it is the most interesting to talk about it, because with the creature campaign, things that you can do after the story, you can max out the stats of each character. So it will be more about who can actually push the character and really make workable team, rather than just people that have level ups, you know? Max out the stats of. So I have devised Tierslist. For now, yeah. This is the data sheet. I want to show Tierslist. For now, the things that we have is meta defining. So we're gonna start with that actually, because everything else will derive from that. Unusable. This is now I'm not saying this in a way to say like, oh, this character is really bad, but I'm talking about actually unusable. So we can right away put Mir, Tethys, and Leon as those character. We're talking about vanilla. I'm not talking about things modified with FE Builder or something else. On vanilla, they are programmed to not be usable into the Link arena, because she's too strong, because she's not supposed to attack, and because she is too strong as well. And about the creature campaign character, I do not remember at the top of my head if they also have the same programming. So for now, I'm gonna put them either in, like, they kind of would be a chair of their own, actually. Why not actually make that? Because I really have no idea right now if they are usable into the Link arena. And the reason for that is because if they are, they would be pretty bad. Because one feature that is ported to the Link arena when you make your team are support dialogue level, which gives you bonuses the deeper are the bonds between your characters. And none of the creature campaign character has any support whatsoever. A fun fact: this well, no, that's the father. No, the other king, yeah, him Hayden, he's the only one that might have survived the events of the story. On the other hand, we know that they are all dead. Let me just pull them. Olson, Alter. I didn't forget anybody, right? Otherwise, I'm just coming back. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna let them sit there, and I'm gonna come back and rearrange the order later once I explain some stuff. So if I were to later give an order, it would be like this. For this tier, that's easy. For the others, we'll see how it goes. Hello, Hysteria. Easter, right? That's how you say it. Yeah, I also love this game. That's actually my favorite across the series, despite the fact that a lot of people say that this is the worst, which I kind of agree, but not on every aspect. For now, we're talking about just the Link Arena, and that means that stats are maxed out ultimately, and the most important will be speed. And this is where I take my data sheet and show you speed tiers. If I remember where I put that, this is gonna be in there. Yeah. Actually, maybe I should make the view a little understandable. Well, anyway, that's 28 points, and this is where we see the Berserker class, amongst other classes, but this one is really important. Let's up back onto our So one important thing in the Link Arena is to decide who will get the regalias of this game, the twin, the Sacred Twin. So those are the super powerful weapon, S rank, and the two most important into the Link Arena would be Garm and Excalibur, which is not the sword, but is actually the animaton. And the reason for that is because there's the powerful bonus of giving you 5 points of speed, which is enough to go from being doubled to not being doubled, and to not doubling to doubling the enemy. Because you need 4 points of speed difference to do that. So, hopping back into our datasheet. The Berserker class has 28, which is already pretty fast. The highest that you have on base are the sword lock users that have 30 points of speed. So Berserker is already pretty fast, but they can have Garm, and they also pack a lot of power. Now on the magical side, you have the Hyper Pupil class, so a secret class just for everyone, and some classes that can use the Excalibur Tome. They are not as fast, with 2 less points of speed, but they are still a threat into the Link Arena. Now, we're gonna take all of that into consideration, Anima and Axe being very powerful into the Link Arena, and a lot of viability for the different characters and classes are gonna derive from that. So right away, I have talked about the Berserker class, and this is not the only class that can use Axe and therefore Garm, but this is both the fastest and most powerful in terms of raw attack power across them. Luckily, there's only 2 characters that can be a Berserker. There is Dozla, which is a Berserker whatsoever because it's a pre-promote, and there is Ross, that can be a Berserker. You can also have other class, Hyper Journeyman, which is a sort of a Berserker but a little less defensive. We're talking about the international version, because in the Japanese version, the Hyper Journeyman is a more powerful version of the Berserker, which is already a terrifying class. But we're not gonna touch that. Separate matter. Because they rebalanced it for a specific purpose. Now, and you can also have Hero and what else am I forgetting? Warrior. But the best would be the Berserker in general. There could be an argument for Hero because they also have access to Sword, and this is pretty good. in the arena again. But the main interest of having sword is to counter Garm users, so might as well just be a Garm user yourself, right? Now, Russ is more powerful than Dozla in the context of the Link arena, because he has more support, but he also has better support and better affinity. Like poor Dozla, we're gonna touch Renak a little bit later, but he's kind of supposed to support with him if you want to use support into the arena. And oh boy, is Renak bad. Like, real bad. So I've talked a little bit about Garm and Excalibur. If you wanted to use a critic campaign character, it means that this guy being a Wyvern Lord, he would have, if I remember, that's 23 base point of speed, which is the lowest. Right? Yeah, Wyvern Lord. So that's the slowest. And it means that a whole lot of classes can outspeed, can double them on base, but that also does include the Berserker. Which means that they are forced to use sword if they want to survive a row against them, and they are better sword users, simply put. So it probably would be amongst the worst. On the other hand, Walter would be pretty good, at least better than Glenn into the arena. Sorry, Glenn, but even into the Link arena, Walter beats your ass. Now, again, if we go back into the data sheet, this is because they have a far better speed tier. If I remember, they have 27? With a knight, there is a difference for many classes for the male and female version. Female version tend to have a little more skill in exchange for male having defense, and for the physical side, the male tend to have a little more power, whereas the female version tend to have more speed. So that actually makes the female more powerful for many classes. So in this case, it's 1 more point of speed. But still, even Walter does feature 28, which is pretty fast, and that's far better. That's equal to the Berserker without Garm. But of course, if they have Garm, they are still doubled. But that does mean that if you equip an Axe River on him, he can at least survive. And he wouldn't take like that much damage from Sword. Sword do less damage than Axe. And the best attack that you would get from a Sword user, I think that would be like 5 or 6 points less than what the Berserker had. There's a really huge difference. But yeah, speed being that important of a factor, meaning that Aiden being the Ranger class and Ismer being the Sword Master class, they are sword locked class kinda, because we want to use bow into the arena. It might sound like a good idea at first, but your character will be a sitting duck and attacked by everybody and just die after one row of attack. So they are more or less sword locked. They have 30 speed, very fast, so they would be better. Not Cadillac can be a Garm user technically, but of course there are better users. But otherwise, the hero class is pretty solid. I think that this guy is a general. Now, something to talk about is a general does have access to a skill, which is not the case for that many classes into Fire Emblem Link GBA. Neither this one, although this one across the 3 GBA games feature the most skills. Walter also has one, but I mean, it's not why he's good. This might make him the best, actually. Although the problem of General is that, well, Vidofnir is out of the way because even though you get more defense, you will still get shredded by the true berserker. Now, also you will get double, and if they have a hammer on top of that, you're just dead in one roll of attack. So you can make a general technically a Garm user. This way they won't get doubled by that many units. So it's defensive. I would want to prefer Audiumla for them because it gives them res, which is kind of the weakness of the general, and also it will protect them from the terrifying axe user. But anyway, that on top of Great Shield is good. Now the Mage Knight class is just kind of terrible, unfortunately. It's not the worst magic class, but they are far better. Well, this can have Excalibur, so I guess this is okay-ish. But yeah, this is probably the worst class. Now this is the worst class that can use Excalibur. So if you have yeah, you have far better magic users. Riv, on the other hand, I don't know which one. Like, one is getting obliterated by Garm if he wants to use spears. And, well, no, at least he is locked. So, at least Glenn can hope to do something. But Riv is just asking to be picked by any anima users. Light magic is really the worst of the three, especially when this is the only one that you have access. Also, well, the problem of the different Cavalier class is that they are pretty slow, especially the male version, which mean every other character than Amelia. You have them in there. You also have a friend, by the way. But you have Paladin, Great Knight, General, and you also have the Bishop class, by the way, aka Reeve, that I've just talked about. All of them are at 24, meaning that any Garm user, any Excalibur user, but also Berserker without Garm, and the fast class like the Wyvern Knight, as well as all the Swordlord classes, would be able to pick them on and double them. So it's kind of complicated. So I probably would place him right there. He has the same problem as Glenn. And yeah, I think that's it for the Critic Campaign character. So I'm gonna do the same comparison for other characters later. I'm not gonna repeat myself, but yeah, take that into consideration. So as I've just talked about, Airframe is really slow, and is lens locked. You know what that means? It means Berserker. It means certain death. So he's extremely bad into the arena. Now there is a fun thing about his dedicated weapon. So the two lords have Sigmund and Siegfried. So specific dedicated weapon for them. But those give +5 strength, which is a good bonus. On top of that, they have strong might. Yeah, I can show. There. The difference is the stat of the wielder, because Ephraim is slow and is already pretty powerful, but Erika does lack power, but she has 30 speed. She's basically a sword master on a mount, so she does benefit far more from that. He is bad because of his speed. She is good because of her speed. Both of them do feature a lot of dialogue option as well. I would say that Erika is strong. I don't know about meta defining. Might be a little too much, but she's at least very strong. If we go on to the other 30 speed sword lock classes, we have Calm, which can be either a rogue or an assassin. Now, there's something to talk about into the Link arena, and that's gonna be... oh, now I don't have any... anything... well, whatever. But this is an item that you can find. I cannot show you because I don't have any right now. This is called the Oplon Guard. You also got the Philly Shield, and those two are held items. You can have two of the each per team due to the story. Basically, you beat Karlach or Valter. Each one gives you one, and later when you recruit them in the critical campaign, they also come with it. So you have two of each. The Philly Shield make it so that you give it to a flyer and they don't feel bows or winds anymore. They don't take effective damage from those. But the Oplon Guard is turns away crit from opponent. Which means that the assassin has a very bad time into the arena. First off, a lot of fast classes, which mean that they will have less opportunity to crit, but also, so remember that for Silencer, he has 50% chance to activate if you crit. They basically are turned into rogue if they try to fight someone with a Hoplon Guard. So both classes that Calm can have access to are bad. At least he's fast, so he's better than Ephraim. But that's all there is about. Other characters that you can have that are fast. You have Joshua. He can be an assassin, and that's the same for Marissa, because they have the same class. They can be assassin or swordmaster. Now, without even looking any further, assassin benefit from critting, but do not increase that chance. Swordmaster increases that chance, and they have higher stats to make up for not activating a crit. So the choice is pretty obvious right away. But also if you factor in the Hoplon Guard and the lower chance to crit because of how stats are, this there will be Swordmaster all the time. I would probably say that they are strong still. I would say that Marissa has a little less support. Joshua, like those two are prince and princess of the country, so they support with like I think she has 8 support. He got 6. Like they got enough support to build a team around. Then you will have Renak, the rogue. Now this guy, on top of having the worst class, because rogue have the same stats as assassin, but they do not have silencer. So as far as combat goes, they are inferior. He also featured the worst affinity, Dark, which gives the worst bonuses across the 7 affinities that you have. So yeah, Renak is just, oh boy. Now he does have a little something for him, is that because he doesn't care about crit, because he doesn't have silencer, he can use magic swords that assassin wouldn't want to use to begin with, because it turns off crit. And that's it. So I think he goes into like the lowest of bad units. Now what do you have? Oh, you have Natasha, which is forced to use light magic. That's not very good. Bishop class would be better than the Valkyrie class for multiple reasons, but still would be very slow. Remember that well, actually she's the female version, she would have 25 but it's still like really slow. And Ivaldi does give 5 more defense, but that doesn't protect against anima users, which will be everywhere because of Excalibur being so good. You would have... do we have another of 1, 2, 3? Yeah. Ooh, no. Well, that's the other character that, just like Renak, has the worst affinity. Dark. It does have some good support. It can be a druid. Now, of course, Summoner just sucks into the arena. There's inferior stats all across the board compared to Druid. And Druid can have access to Anima Magic, which means Excalibur user. This is actually a pretty cool class, because if you have a Sage, you have higher stat than Druid, like all across the board, if I remember. But Dark Magic in the arena is it does have some cool effects. You get Nosferatu, but you also got Luna, which negates enemies' res. Now, is he still bad? I don't know. Because of this option, I would say that he's subpar. I would prefer the Excalibur user, but like it can be an option. But I would say that if you want a druid, A1 would be far better. Like if you absolutely want to play a druid, A1 will have better support overall. But A1, yeah, A1, let's put it in there right away. It's just meta defining. It can be a druid, it can be a mage knight, it can be a sage, it can be a hyper pupil, or it can be a summoner. That's all his option. But in general, he would be better as a sage, because that's the highest magic, the highest combination of magic and speed. And again, as an Excalibur user, he wants to play on that. But there is a little argument for going Hyper Pupil. There is 1 more point of base speed and access to dark magic. So it's kind of middle ground. It's little less powerful than Sage, but it does have the benefit of Druid. So you could pick either one. Anyways, it's going to be very powerful. And let's complete the trio right away. We got Amelia. That's right, the 3 trainees are extremely powerful into the Linka arena. Now, first off, they form a triangle support. They can support each other, and they form a very strong core. They are all from very powerful possible classes. And I haven't touched... so I've touched the general being pretty powerful into the arena, but Amelia also does have one other option. That's the hyper... what is the name? Hyper... Dang, I forgot the class. But yeah, that's her when she keeps her bare forms 2 times. And recruit, hyper recruit. This is a spear lock class. That is pretty fast with 20, I think that's 29. Let's check that right away. Hyper recruit. Hyper recruit there. Yeah, it's 29 point of speed. So very fast. And with plus 15% chance to crit. So it's actually the Albaji class from later games. This is good, but it still means that Garm Berserker would be able to out double her. This is a big weakness. But she can come with an Axe River. She won't get doubled by the fast sword users. So I would say that she could be solid, but I would still prefer going general. But like these are 2 options. The other general that we can have, which is Gilliam, he does have good support as well. I wouldn't call it really meta defining, because like Amelia is extremely strong because of she can support with those 2, and they can form a really strong core. Gilliam, on the other hand, he can support with like other friendlier characters mostly. So he's more like the tanky general that stays on the side, but he's not really he's not gonna be an offensive character. He's just there to keep the supports going on mostly, and be there for a long time. And don't think about Great Knight, because this is a class with inferior stats compared to general, with one more weakness, because you will get effective damage against, like, from Horse Slayer and Zembato, and what is this? The long axe? Well, basically for additional damage against cavalry. Which does mean that Duesel has a bad time. He's a worst option compared to those two, and even compared to Paladin. Because Paladin, they will lose access to axes, but for those three, it's probably still better to go as a Paladin. Now, that's the same in terms of speed. Let's hop back into the datasheet at 24, right? But when you look at the stats, what was the option? No, did I actually just do said the opposite? You got more defense. No, never mind. That's the Great Knight is a better option. I think I mixed up because General is far better than the Great Knight. Nah. For those three, Great Knight is a better option. Never mind. Just because of the additional defense, that's already pretty good. But the only thing that you have, well, basically you are tankier, and you just have a slightly lesser chance to hit your shots and to avoid damage. But in general, this would be better. But it doesn't matter much for Garm, actually, because I think that they wouldn't be your Garm user anywhere, even if you were to make them Great Knight. In terms of support, I think that it would go in like this order, maybe. Like, let's imagine that they are all four are supposed to be Great Knights. In terms of support quality, this might go this way. In general, character from René will have a lot of support, so this is there. Now, this does mean that Set is a little behind. Basically, all of those are better off being replaced by Gilliam or Amelia. And since you could, I think, manage to have both in a team, yeah, they are in a bad spot. Another character that could be compared to a top tier character would be Garcia compared to his son. But actually, not that much. I wouldn't call it meta defining, but he's strong. He cannot be a berserker, unfortunately. He can at most be a warrior. And generally you will want Ross, because Ross is just that good. So Garcia wouldn't be your Garm user. So either you go for like I would say that he might be better as a hero into this context, because Sword would protect him better than axes, because he cannot have Garm. But in the end, that's kind of up to you, I suppose. He's most like a secondary character that's just there to boost Ross. He does have some good support option, but if I have to choose between a warrior user of Garm and a berserker user of Garm, the choice is very obvious. I wouldn't call him simple, because at least his supports are pretty good to be featured with like the top tier character. Another strong character that you have would be Naomi. I would say, yeah, one or the other. She's about the same as Erika. Maybe a little better due to the dialogue quality. I don't know. Those three right there can form can be your team. So that might be the most meta-defining team that you could have into Link Arena. She can be a sniper, of course, but sniper sucks into the arena. So she would be a ranger. So fast class and uses Odium Law and stuff and stuff. Like, okay, that's why she has the same profile as Erika. Well, actually, Erika does have singling, so I guess she's a little better. Another regent that you can have is Garrick, and that's the same. So, of course, just being fast means that you are automatically strong when there is doubling, and they are all there. On the other hand, I've just talked about Sniper. So, I guess that this is a pitfall for people that starts off not just into the Link Arena, but that think because of his introduction that In is just so damn cool. But Archer do have the same problem in every game. They are most of the time sitting ducks and they cannot retaliate in melee. And in the Link Arena, most of units will be melee. So your sniper will be sitting ducks. Just because of that, I would say is bad. But at least the class is good offensively. So I would say, and they are fast actually. So they could maybe manage to dodge a few times and manage to hit 2 or 3 rounds of attack if you're lucky. But that's really more of a gamble than anything. It won't be reliable. La Rochelle, she does have the same stat, whether you go for Mage Knight or for Valkyrie, but, of course, Anima magic would be better almost all the time than Light magic, because Anima magic exists into the arena in Excaliburs and stuff. So I guess she would be a subpar option, because they're the same reflection as Null. They are better Excalibur users. Amongst those would be Saleh, which I would say is probably there, actually. Not really meta-defining, still subpar compared to A1, and it doesn't have a lot of dialogue option. It does feature support with A1, so that might be one of the reasons to go for Hyper Pupil, by the way. Like, you go from Hyper Pupil that uses Dark Magic mostly, and Saleh being your Excalibur user. This could be a combo, why not? But yeah, Saleh being a Sage just means that he's a very strong Excalibur user. But there is one that is a little better, and that Lute. She does... now I don't remember how they compare in terms of pure magic power. But she does have 1 more point of speed, I remember. That's... we got Sage, and so that's the male version, and the female version. We got same power, little less. What is that already? No, never mind. She got 2 more points of power. 1 more. Yeah, 2 more points of power, because I guess females are more intelligent than men. That's the idea. And they do have the same, a little less defense, but that's not the best about the Sage class anyway. So yeah, I thought that she was a little faster, but no, she's more powerful. Well, anyway, she get the edge slightly, but it's still important. So she would be better. Now, would I put her into meta defining because of that? I guess so. I guess she's kind of a very strong Excalibur user as well. And being from Morene, she also has many support. I think that she supports from with him, Kyle, Arthur, Kyle, and other characters, so she can form good links. Now, talking about Arthur, can be a soul sage, or it can be a bishop, but bishop sucks, like I said. Sage are better in terms of style anyway, so even if you want him to use light magic, it would be better as a sage anyway. So I would still put him into strong. Would he be better than Saleh? I think that he has more support. And most notably with loot, actually. So that he's better. Now that does leave Molder as another possible sage. Probably slightly better. You can support with the other Freya character, Gilliam, and those. But before the ladies, the flying ladies, let's do the flying boy before wrapping this up. So Cormag can be either within Lord or within Knight. I have talked with Walter and Glenn about how better it is to go as a Within Knight. So I won't repeat myself, it's just better as a Within Knight. But that does mean that he's lens locked. So I would say that he's subpar just because the flying ladies are actually better. Now those two can be Within Knight as well. And this might be a thing if you're into it because it's faster. But the Falcon Knight class does feature something interesting, and that is to be able to use swords as well, but also there. And I'm not saying that this is the best option, but this is something. So they do have one less mono speed, but they're still pretty fast. But they can have a Jumla, and they have amongst the highest res that you have, and with the Jumla, which gives 5 res, they have the highest. So that's a little thing. In the end, that more depends of what you how you want to play, I guess. If you want to play them as the offensive character, go for Within Knight. They also will have one more point of speed compared to Cormac. But otherwise, if you want them to like be there, be pretty as the as the lady on Pegasus, and keep the dialogues supports bonuses on while you attack with other characters, go for Falcon Knights. Otherwise, I would say that they are. I would say that they are subpar. Actually, if you want a sword user that bad, this would be those guys. If you want a fast attacker, this would also be this guy or your Garmin Excalibur user. So I would say that that's a ball. Now that's about it. I haven't talked about anything like all the skills and so on, but I would say that as a general description on how things could be into the Link Arena, this would resemble that. And I haven't talked about like going for a core of 3 versus a core of 4 dialogues, in which you could have one character that is strong on its own, like a general being on the side and just being unkillable. Like, there are many things that you could do into the Link Arena, but I would say that in general people would go for offensive team. I don't know, you tell me. I would do this actually, but I'm a barbarian. I don't know if it really is about the same for everybody. But yeah, this is my final version. For now, at least. Maybe I will go into the link arena once again, and I will change. Maybe like this. Yeah, whatever. Let's call it a day. I would say that this should resemble that. Thanks for watching. If anybody comes by, do tell me what if you have if you have played the Link Arena first off, I would be I would feel less alone. And if you are interested, and if you agree or disagree with me, and what kind of team would you have played, and stuff, and so on, I'll leave it to your imagination. Thanks for watching. Bye.